Maybe you sensed it, that feeling that you're being watched. Well, the state has laws against stalking on the books, making it a felony.
Now, what if police don't recognize it? And what if it's a complete stranger who's bothering you? Tonight, Joe Conger and the I-Team investigates. Cynthia Verbeff is moving. Her home, she says, has become a house of horrors.
I feel that I've lost my mind, I've lost my life.
Incident reports from law enforcement tell the tale. Numerous break-ins at the address, vandalism to her car, her motorcycle, her computer. Verbeff believes she's being targeted.
Everything, they just went through everything.
But sheriff's detectives had little to go on because the vandals, though often destructive, stole nothing. Even from her portable safe, drilled into and torn apart, the contents, the jewelry, remained untouched. Verbeff says her troubles didn't start until she met these two men. One would become her ex-boyfriend. The other was his partner in a San Antonio pain clinic, Dr. John Hall.
Very first time I met him, we went to his house on 4th of July, and he told me that because I was already there in his house, I would be the next victim, that I was going to be stopped.
Verbeff found the doctor's prophecy to be correct. She suffered months of oddness.
Coming in through the front door, and I touch the doorknob, and it just falls into pieces.
Lights left on, doors open, furniture moved, her clothes dryer disassembled. Her friends say they noticed the strange happenings. They tell the I-Team they even witnessed a gas oven left turned on.
As soon as you walk in the house, you'd smell gas in the house. So the whole house smelled from gas. So immediately turned it off and opened up the doors. But I mean, that thing doesn't just turn on by itself. It had been running for a good length of time.
Or the time Verbeff and a friend say they were stalked at a mall.
I saw him following us to several stores, and I would see the man close to us, looking at us.
The girls had the presence of mind to snap a photo with their phone. Verbeff says all these happenings culminated in an assault. The 39-year-old believes someone drugged the food in her home and returned later to rape her.
I know something happened to me because a woman knows.
She filed a report and was briefly hospitalized with signs of sexual assault. Dr. Hall says what Verbeff describes is known as gang stalking. Indeed, he writes about it in his book, A New Breed, Satellite Terrorism in America. Verbeff is not alone. Others in San Antonio have contacted the I-Team and described similar types of occurrences.
The urine arsenic is above normal. We shouldn't have arsenic.
Linda Johnson says someone poisoned her water supply with heavy metals in northwest San Antonio. Then there's her story about the bracelet that went missing, then reappeared. Police, she says, have stopped listening to her. And like Verbeff, she too believes she's been sexually assaulted, although she never filed a police report.
I've gone to doctors many times, and I've been to the Rape Crisis Center for counseling, yes.
Many of these so-called victims of what Hall describes as gang stalking meet up on the internet, finding comfort and information from others who say they too suffer from electronic stalking, mind control, and even rape. Loosely defined, gang stalking is where organized groups target and harass unwilling victims to the point of paranoia, leaving the victims to deal with skeptical family members and skeptical law enforcement.
This isn't stalking done by a former spouse or former boyfriend or someone that you know that's disgruntled at you, but stalking is being done by total strangers in an organized fashion.
And some internet links take you here to the book mentioned earlier, written by Dr. John Hall.
The book is fact. It's not a book of fiction. What I've wrote about is an isolated story here in San Antonio.
Dr. Hall says it is a story about himself and the harassment and rapes his ex-girlfriends allegedly suffered beginning in 1996. Dr. Hall believes the people behind it are well-organized operatives using government satellite technology to terrorize him and other victims.
All voicing the same complaints: organized stalking, weird electronic disturbances going on in their homes. Most of the women are complaining of drugging and sexual assault. So it's a big national problem.
Verbeff bought the book, and what she read, she says, caused her stomach to turn, because within the chapters in the story, she found similarities to her own situation.
I pulled out the book and I started reading, and I'm like, oh my God, it's exactly what's happening.
It's like turning the pages of your own story.
Everything.
Remember the doors, windows, even the clothes dryer taken apart? Page 35, third paragraph, talks about reassembling appliances. The drugged food and rape? Page 52 talks of concealing Rohypnol, the date rape drug, in drinks and food. The account in Hall's book is chilling, and the I-Team uncovered some truth to his story. San Antonio police reports indicate there was a rape reported in 2007 in the same quad of condos where one of Dr. Hall's girlfriends supposedly lived. San Antonio police say the condo rape remains under investigation. And Bexar County detectives say Verbeff's assault remains open as well. And although there are some interesting connections to Dr. Hall in the book, law enforcement won't and cannot say if Dr. Hall is even a person of interest. The I-Team thought the similarities were striking and asked him,
could you in fact be the person that's creating this mess for these women?
And that's one of the reasons why I got out of my ex-fiancee's life, to make sure that they weren't victimizing her in order to get at me.
Dr. Hall says he's been targeted by the same groups. There's mention in the book of a conspiracy by the criminals and by fellow doctors. Dr. Hall says the Texas Medical Board retaliated against him for uncovering the gang stalking. The I-Team confirmed one local hospital suspended Dr. Hall's clinical privileges for 2 months in 2006. In 2007, the Texas Medical Board ordered 2 mental evaluations of Dr. Hall. The first came back normal, but a second evaluation found a probable delusional disorder and ordered psychiatric treatment. And in 2008, Hall's license was suspended, this time when he tested positive for cocaine. In the book, he explains the operatives drugged him with cocaine periodically. Dr. Hall's medical license has since been reinstated.
If you look nationwide, almost everyone that complains of this eventually gets sent to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrists don't look into the technology. They don't do any research into whether or not any of this is possible.
With his book published, Dr. Hall is taking his message nationally. He's appeared on cable TV shows.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hall.
Late night radio.
And our guest tonight, Dr. John Hall.
And even has his own radio program in the works.
There have been several people in my midst, obviously, that have been victimized, but if you look at it on a larger scale, it is a national problem as well.
Dr. Hall says the problem is gang stalking, seeking to victimize innocent women and sully his reputation for exposing them. For the I-Team, Joe Conger, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Dr. Hall's belief is that we all face some sort of terrorism in our lives that is mostly unseen and deadly. He contends criminals are tapping into our government surveillance systems to gain access to our lives and minds. To our lives and minds. To our lives and minds. To our lives and minds.
Tiger Woods and his father, Earl Woods. Earl, how old is it? How old are you, Tiger? 2. 2?
As a Green Beret in Vietnam, Tiger Woods' father, Earl, had witnessed psyops, psychological operations, wiping soldiers' memories in order to send them into battle.
All right, now walk out there.
Earl wondered what would happen if he used the same techniques on his son.
Ready? Relax. Okay.
He hired a military psychiatrist who could reprogram Tiger like a computer.
Relax. Away. Okay.
This man was Captain J. Brunzer. Brunzer embarked on a bizarre and extraordinary program to hypnotize Tiger before he played. In a rare interview, Tiger talked about how he would forget whole sections of tournaments.
I tend to have these blackout moments where I don't remember, I know I was there, but I don't remember actually performing the golf shot.
Brunzer's techniques produced extraordinary results. But is it possible that the great moments we saw, Tiger knew nothing about?
I don't know what the whole terminology is, but there are many putts or many shots where I don't remember hitting. I remember seeing the ball flight. I remember preparing for the shot, pulling the club out of the bag, and once I'm behind the ball, I'm walking in the shot, I don't remember till I see the ball leave. It's a weird thing.
history being served up for us by Tiger Woods in this moment.
Just dig here. Some of y'all perpetrators probably don't even know that y'all really perpetrators. What I'm saying is, some of y'all been lied to about the job y'all doing and why y'all being hired on. And y'all think y'all mob figures. Cut it out.
Hi you guys, this is Renata. I came across an old talk show recording where a guy was doing his call and someone called in who said he was a perpetrator. And he gave some information that I think might be helpful for us, so I want to share it with you. He talked about the directed energy weapons. He talked very little about the stalking. They didn't ask him much about stalking. I wish they would have, but we're grateful for whatever information we can get. He talked about chemicals and how they use chemicals. He talked about how they are trained on using the directed energy weapons. So I think that we can get something out of listening to what he says. It's a little hard to understand because he's using a voice changer and he's not talking very loud, so I'm hoping you guys can hear it. But I think also listening to him will maybe answer some questions that some TIs have about how these perpetrators become involved in targeting people. I don't think this is the only way, but I think what he says, the reason why he got involved, I think this is one of the ways. He's saying that if he would not have gone along with targeting, that his entire family and everyone he is associated with would be tortured. And so he says that is his reason for becoming involved. But I will let you guys hear it for yourself. At the end, it's probably about 7 to 10 minutes. At the end, I'll come back and I'll recap what he says just in case you guys didn't hear it, okay? So here it goes.
Hello, who is this? Just a listener.
You're talking to a perpetrator, honey.
Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I am. Please define perpetrator. We're calling you a perpetrator. Why do you have a voice disguiser on? I am not. I just don't give out my voice or identity. I'm a really good guy, I promise. Well, tell us why you're here. Why are you here then? What about this subject intrigues you? Have you been a victim or are you a perpetrator? I have been a victim and I am afraid to let my identity be known. What have you been a victim of? I have been a victim of harassment. And I have also went to the school that she is talking about. As well, there's many of us that have been affected, and we learned to join forces.
So what he is he went to the school to become a perpetrator, and I can guarantee he tried to get out of this crap, and they targeted him, correct?
I had no choice but to give in. They were going to abolish my entire family, and I had no choice.
And see, that's another thing that I'm talking about here with these perpetrators. A lot of these people are forced I know that some of these people that are criminals, that are whoever has been in trouble with law enforcement, they are told, you will do this to this person or we will send you back to jail. So what this man is saying is he didn't really like doing what he had to do to people, but he was forced to, and he went to that school I was telling you about where they train you how to harass and hurt people. Am I correct?
They train us on everything, how to use plasma weapons and microwave weapons, weapons of manipulation, and getting people to conform to breaking the law in order to keep prisons financially secure. You name it, it's going on.
So when these people try to say I'm crazy and this is all in my head and that I'm not being harassed and gang stalked and hit by plasma weapons or microwave weapons, I am not crazy, am I? This is actually happening to me, isn't it?
It actually happens, and it is a growing thing. Initially, what's happened is a lot of, when they abolished slavery, they formed a new approach to slavery, where it didn't picked on the poor in order for certain businesses to thrive financially. And as the economy gets worse, then the need for more and more people to be manipulated into breaking the law and doing things that will help bring money into the prisons and support certain levels of the government is even going on now more so than ever.
So are you still involved in this perpetration? If so, why?
I do what I have to do in order for my family to stay alive. It's not a matter of prison. That's a mild way of putting it. These people will...
So what you're telling me is you have no balls. You have no way to stand up to these people. You decide to go ahead and join them.
Well, I'm here on this phone call, aren't I? I'm trying to be informative and let you know what is going on without getting too known about it. If you'd like for me to go, I can go. But I believe I have a lot of valuable knowledge you'd probably like to hear.
Yes, we do want to hear it. What he is saying is, what he is telling you is he doesn't like what he's doing, but he has to do it. Otherwise, they will do these things to his wife and his children. They will torture his family if he doesn't do what they tell him to do. Am I correct?
They will torture everyone around me that has any kind of relation to me, and I have no choice but to do this, or they will, it isn't even a matter of my own life. It's as important as some of the people that are in my life. They would rather keep me alive, thinking that no one would ever believe what I have to say, and therefore, but once I rebel, then they will end my family.
And that's why he's disguising his voice. Because if they hear his voice, they'll come after him. Let me ask you something. As far as the weapons that you're talking about that they have trained you to use on us, is there any way that we can protect ourselves from it?
There are certain ways that you can avoid the video overhead surveillance and the rays of neutrons and stuff like that getting sent from space. But you must have mirrors on the will not degrade for 5 years. That will, every time you come out your front door, will expose you to the elements and cause you to be ill and attack certain neurons in your brain that will cause you to act a certain way to where you will, want the urge to either drink or do drugs or certain ways of mind manipulation that will cause you to pour money into the system. And they know as you being a targeted individual to follow you and wait for you to make the mistakes that they're counting on you making so that they can continue to grow their businesses in the government institutions.
What about the poisons that they use when they come in your house? What kind of poisons are they using?
For the most part, your pesticide guys and stuff, they come in spraying, insecticides and stuff that will, it's hard to actually get in. A lot of people think that that's one of the easier ways to get in and do stuff. But usually what will happen is it's so much easier than to have to send someone in person to spray the base spores of your home to infect you. All they have to do is drop 5 ounces of liquid material into your heating and air system, and it will not degrade for, again, like go on. As a matter of fact, it's actually longer, it's 10 years, but it will stay and be produced through the air in your home continually, year after year, and slowly affecting certain transmitters within a person's brain that will cause them to do a particular thing.
It causes depression, doesn't it?
It will cause depression, and it will cause, paranoia, but a lot of times, depending on what they use, it can excite you. It can make you feel like it's time to go to the bar and drink and get drunk, and possibility of getting a DUI. So they're asserting in that way that DUI costs anywhere from $700 to over $1,000, and they can label you as a criminal, and then they just target you even more to try and make money off of you. A lot of times they don't try to make depression an issue because they want you to actually get out and about so that they can stalk you. They sometimes can have negative reactions. Those people who are aware of what's going on, who are in that paranoid stage, who keep themselves hibernated, will experience the depression. If they don't realize what's happening, then of course they usually don't suffer from depression.
What exactly does the microwave weapon do to somebody's body?
Oh, it can take off arms, burn, without bleeding, it can, and it will, it's even been known to catch flesh on fire, but it won't, they generally like to do it in mild doses. It keeps you still alive, still keeps you
Here we go again.